Hi friends! Who else hates getting scammed buying Pokemon cards? I know I do. Lately, I've noticed a lot of you guys outside of Japan buying Japanese Pokemon cards, whether it's because you like how they look, you like the quality, you can't get cards reasonably priced in your own country, or whatever the reason. I thought I'd make a little guide to help you not get scammed when you're buying these Japanese Pokemon cards. I'm not going to go over how to buy cards specifically for you because it's just different country to country. It's different whether you can read Japanese or not, and the funds you have, the access to what websites there are. But I will say most of the examples of where people are buying them are Sneaker Dunk, Bai, the sites that will sell from Japanese sites directly, or shipping forwarders that will do the same. You buy from the site and you can just get them to forward it to your address. Maybe you have a supplier directly in Japan, or you know a website that ships to overseas. Or maybe you're buying locally and someone else is bringing in these Japanese Pokemon cards. So keeping all that in mind, let me give you some tips on how not to get scammed buying Pokemon cards. So let's go over the categories of how you might shop. We've got online shopping for either boxes, full booster boxes, for packs or for single cards. And we've got in-store shopping, and again, this could be for full boxes, for packs, or for single cards. And let's start with in-store because it's just a little simpler because you do have the ability to go in and see them in person. But a lot of the tips for in-store are really not going to change much for English to Japanese cards. Always know the kind of pricing that's out there before you go in to buy stuff. There will often be a bit of a premium on card shops, just because they have to pay the rent and stuff that online people don't, but in return you get the chance to physically see the cards, check the condition if you're buying singles, see the state of the wrapping if you're buying boxes and packs. So just kind of know the average price of what you're looking for and know whether you're happy to pay that little bit of extra cost there. So in store, if you're buying boxes, what you're going to want to check, Japanese boxes, what you're going to want to check is it sealed? And if they won't show you the box before you buy it, that it could be a red flag, but maybe they're just pulling them out of a case, in which case is that sealed? And does that seal look legit? So I've seen on English packs, there's like a Pokeball print on the plastic wrap, but most Japanese booster boxes just have plain plastic around the box. If they bought from the Pokemon Center, it might be in a cardboard box marked Pokemon Center, and they'll have the slip of what they bought, which is a way some people legitimize. But probably if you walk into your local card shop, or even if you're on a trip to Japan and you walk into a card shop and you see boxes, they'll just have the box. It will generally be sealed. But yeah, if you're in your country and you see some Japanese boxes, just know it's not a red flag that they don't have any Pokeball prints on the plastic. That's pretty normal. Is the box itself damaged? Remember, it's come pretty far to get to you. So check on the condition of the box. If the corners are really damaged, the packs inside may be as well. So just keep that in mind. And if you can, especially if this is like an individual that you're buying from and not a card shop, try to ask where the box came from. How did they get it? So if they bought from another reseller, then, you know, the more hands it's passed through, the more chances that it's resealed. But if you're in a really legit shop and you trust them, then you don't really need to ask. If you're asking person to person, that's a pretty common question. Alright, next thing you might see in stores, again, whether you're traveling to Japan or in your own country, you might see loose packs out. In Japan, it's really common to see a open booster box and the pack's just right in there. Most of those shops are pretty legit. A lot of them will open it up right in front of you, and there's just a limit on how many packs you can buy, and so that's kind of how you do loose packs, or they'll hang them up in a convenience store. That's pretty legit. If you're talking an individual selling them, or a store in your country, and you just see the packs loose, the risk here is Japanese boxes first can be weighed. Every pack individually can be weighed. It can be metal scanned, stuff like that. But also, boxes have guaranteed hits, and a lot of people will open up until they get the hit and then sell the rest of the packs. So this is less of a risk in store, but if you are able to ask if it's just a fresh opened up box, I would ask if I were you. Personally, I would avoid buying loose packs unless I trust the seller. So if I just saw someone in a yard sale selling loose Japanese packs, I would never go for that. And we'll talk about more of that when we're talking about online sales of packs. But if they're a trusted seller, if you're able to ask if it's just from a fresh box, then you're generally more safe there in store than otherwise. And the final thing that you might be looking for in store is singles, and I think you'll probably see a lot more of these than packs and boxes, especially right now for Japanese cards, especially if you go to card shows and stuff like that, which are pretty cool. I don't have a lot of tips for you here because I'm not a pro on finding cards that are PSA 10 or extra pretty or anything, and it's not really different than buying cards in your language. Just make sure you know the quality you're looking for, give it a good look, check the price before, compare it to the price that you're seeing. If you're happy with it, then go for it. Alright, now we get to the shadier part of Pokemon card shopping, which is online shopping. In general, this is the same buying cards in your own country and in Japan. Be careful of sellers who have very few or poor reviews. That's just a general thing. Very few reviews could mean they're new, or it could mean they're someone that makes a new account all the time to scam people. Just know how much you're willing to risk on that. So again, we'll start with boxes. Now this is one where people get scammed really easy thinking they're buying a sealed box, and it is in fact not sealed. So let's look carefully through buying a box from a Japanese website or a reseller of a Japanese website. So first of all, you want to check if it's sealed. I'm going to show you a couple words here that you want to check for in the description. So if you're buying from Buyee or somewhere, make sure you look at the original seller's description. If it says this box boom, that means the amount of packs in a box. It means it is not a sealed box. This is the word you want to look for. That means sealed. You also can get a box that has no shrink, so unsealed, but still has the rip, the cardboard rip. So you can sneak packs out of the box still, so you want a trusted seller for this, but I've had a lot of luck with people selling unsealed but still unripped boxes, and them still having the proper hits and all of that in them. So something to keep in mind. It usually will save you a bit of money there, but you do have a slight risk there of it not being fully sealed. Just keep it in mind. So if it's a suspicious, this is going to be true for everything online, if it's a suspiciously good price, there's probably something wrong. Could be people reusing pictures, could be them saying it's sealed and it's resealed. Same as buying boxes in stores. If you're able to, translate the description or ask if it's a place where you can add comments and see where the box came from. If they bought it from someone, it could be resealed and they don't even know. So same process there. And most of these sellers won't directly have English support, so just something to keep in mind there. If you look at the description, you can translate it. Some people will say that it's like a one-owner product, or I bought it at X and Y. If it's from the Pokemon Center, they'll often show a picture of their receipt. They usually won't send the receipt as proof because it's against terms of a lot of websites, but something to keep an eye out for in the pictures. Next thing you might be shopping for online, packs. Now, Japanese packs do not come in the fun little cardboard like English ones. They don't have the code card, so they're really easy to weigh. They're easy to metal scan. And as mentioned, people will open up the boxes, go until they get the big hit, and sell the rest of the packs as loose. In person, you can maybe trust this a bit more. You can see the whole box with just a few packs gone, but online you can't really trust that something hasn't been checked about these packs. So the term for packs that have been checked, so you know they're duds, is searched. They are against terms of most websites, I believe, if they don't say that these are searched packs, but a lot of people don't know the lingo, and so you might be looking at a product and the description says these are searched packs. Well, that's what that means. These are probably dud packs. Someone weighed them, or they metal scanned them, or they did whatever, so they know that these are not good packs. So definitely don't buy anything that says that. The other term that you'll see is not searched, misachi, and you know, you're kind of trusting the seller at that point. So they're telling you that they haven't checked. It could be good, but you have to, you know, ask yourself how much you want to believe them. And the other thing you might see is searched heavy packs. So people will weigh them and then sell the heavy packs for like more than the cost of a box. And sometimes this means it is a god pack. Sometimes it means it has the SAR, the SR hit in it. But is it the biggest one of the set to be worth paying that much? How sure are you that that's the actual weight and not a picture that they just took of weighing a different pack? You know, just keep it all in mind. But that's the other thing you'll see is it's searched, but it's a good one and not a dud. And those will cost a lot more. If you do really want to buy loose packs, you might see in the description that they're loose, not searched, from convenience stores. So convenience stores pretty much only sell loose packs, at least now, and not boxes. So they're usually just loose packs out. So that would be, or electronic stores. Those would be the places that people would be getting the loose packs to sell. But again, you're trusting their word, so just keep that in mind. And if you are buying from an auction, important, don't get caught up in the last 2 minutes hype and spend way more than what the packs are worth, or don't go without reading the description. If it's suspiciously low in an auction, there's probably also a reason. You're probably not the one finding this one auction nobody bid on, so just make sure you have enough time to really read through it and don't get caught in that last minute bidding war. And the last thing you might be buying online is single cards, and this again is not much different than buying single cards in your own language from your own country online. You're going to want to make sure the pictures are legit. Try and reverse image search. I will say, if you're reverse image searching cards in Japan, it's not unusual for someone to post on 1 or 2 sales sites, so that's not the hugest red flag. If they're everywhere, or the same seller has the same card with the exact same pictures, then you start to really get into red flag territory. But seeing them on like Yahoo and Mercari is maybe not a guaranteed, oh, this is a bad seller. So just so you're aware. But make sure there are lots of pictures in all the right angles, you know. You can see all of no fingers covering scratches, no glare covering dents, all of that kind of stuff. Same thing as you would probably look for in your own country. Something some Japanese sellers will do is you can bulk buy from them for a bit of a discount. It'll usually say in their seller description or the item description, like if you buy 5 cards, you get X% off or X yen off. So something to keep in mind if you want a few, like you're looking for maybe older bulk cards or something like that. But this might not be true once you include the cost of shipping, but just something for looking to shop on Japanese websites. And of course, same as if you're buying in your own country, know the price and do try and look at some of the last sold cards on the platform you're buying from and not just like Price Checker, because again, within Japan, some of those prices will be quite different. And maybe you're looking for a rare card you can't get in your own country, and that's great. So just, there might not be that many last cards to go off of, just go with the price you're comfortable with. But if you're going for one because you think it's cheaper then where you are, make sure you factor in shipping and all of that as well. So you know how to check for your own prices and know what's too good to be true. Well, now you know how to shop for Japanese cards. Hopefully this will stop you from being scammed. I think a lot of you are looking for boxes right now to rip, so I think the most important point, if you only remember one thing from this video, is the box boon. Don't get scammed by the amount of cards of a box. It's not a box. Remember, shrink box, no box boon. That's the most important part of the video. Alright. Bit of a bonus info here for you at the end. If you come to Japan to shop, try to go between a few shops and compare prices. They can vary pretty drastically, especially if you're looking for a rare card. And they can also vary pretty drastically between cities. But the more expensive cities will also often have more options. Like Tokyo will have everything you can ever want and find, but a lot of the tourist traps will be really expensive. So just try and go around and compare if you can. You probably won't be able to go back and forth cities and compare, but like try and look online, Japanese sold prices and other shops in the area to see if the shop you are in right now specifically isn't maybe one of the worst tourist shops in the city. You can look at reviews, but if they have all English reviews from foreigners, yeah, you know, maybe it is a tourist shop and people are just happy to be in Japan shopping for cards and the prices are high. You know, you're using a different currency, you don't think of the exchange rate, it's like fake money. And if a store has a bad rating, often it might be because they give a bad price on buying cards or something. Their selling prices might not be the worst, so maybe try and translate some reviews. Some Japanese reviewers can be a little stricter than some of us English speakers. Another point, if they hand you a card to check the condition, do not take it out of the sleeve. I think this is true overseas as well, but you will panic the poor Japanese staff. You may need cash in some shops, but I think this is dying off more and more. Most of the shops I go to are not cash only, but just maybe keep it in mind. It probably says somewhere near the cash register or the door with like a cash sign or English writing if they only accept cash. So just say, if you don't want to ask or you don't want to get there and panic, just try and scope out the cash register or check on the door what forms of payment they accept. If you're not in the touristy shops, which are probably the better places to be for good deals, you may notice there's very little English support. Try and have a couple phrases handy, have your translator app out there. Just know that a lot of places in Japan don't have the best English support, and that's okay, but just don't be surprised by it. And another tip, check prices in your currency. Real time. It actually does vary quite a lot, so don't round, search, especially if you're buying a big purchase. Search real time, get those prices, and use tax-free where you can. Look up tax-free shopping in Japan. I believe it's over 5,000 yen at any of the shops where it applies, and they'll say tax-free somewhere usually when you can tax-free shop, and you'll save the tax, and that's really cool. There's a whole process. I live here, so I can't use it, so I'm not the best person to explain, but it's not just Pokemon cards. Tax-free shopping in Japan is a pretty good system, so look it up. Alright, and with that, I believe that's everything you need to know about shopping for Pokemon cards, Japanese Pokemon cards, inside and mostly outside of Japan. Hopefully it was useful to you. Please don't get scammed. Keep yourself safe. Goodbye!